Looking to make money from home as a freelance writer? Don't know whether to start with content mills or look for private clients? Well, I'm Michael with WriterSanctuary, and today I'm going to take a look at content mills versus private clients and which ones are best for you. I know a lot of freelance writers on YouTube have a problem with content mills. Now, these are systems that connect you with a client who's looking for someone to write their content. And personally, I don't believe that content mills are as bad as everybody claims. In fact, I believe organizations like this play a big role in helping someone advance their career as a freelance writer. And I'm living proof of this concept. I was able to grow and gain experience from content mills, which is a big part of my client base today. So which is better, content mills or private clients? Well, first let's take a look at the overall payout from each method. Unfortunately, content mills have a very low payout rate, which is why a lot of people have a problem with them. This is especially true when compared to what you can make from a private client. And although I've made thousands of dollars from systems like Textbroker, it doesn't even come close to comparing to what I make with my private clients. This isn't saying that you won't make much with content mills though. That's true that not all content mills are created equal, and some of them have an exceptionally low payout rate. However, I was able to sustain myself for years just writing for content mills and nothing else. Part of that was because I lacked faith in myself and my abilities and was pretty much content with just making what I was making on Textbroker. For the longest time, I really didn't see myself as that much of a professional. And this goes to show you just how badly imposter syndrome can affect a freelancer of any kind. The bottom line is that you can make a lot more money with private clients than you can with on systems like Textbroker and Writer Access. Of course, this also depends on the private client. Some of them may try to get as much as humanly possible out of you without having to pay a hefty price tag. But if you find a couple of golden private clients, you can easily make six-figure income. I don't, merely because I spend most of my time on YouTube and my other projects and everything else I've got going on right now. But if I decided to drop everything and just write full-time like I used to, I could be making bank. Now let's take a look at the workflow. While some private clients will pay you grand amounts of money per word, a lot of them are going to limit how much you're actually going to be writing for them. For instance, some organizations may wind up paying you $1 a word. This is almost 100 times more than what Textbroker would pay you as a freelance writer on the content mill. Now the caveat though is that a lot of these organizations are only going to limit you to maybe a post or two a month. Unless you line up a lot of private clients or you sign some kind of contract for retaining your services, you're not really going to see a lot of work from one person throughout the entire month. The workflow can be quite small. And with content mills, you have potential to keep picking up jobs and keeping yourself busy over and over and over. And it's true that some systems can dry up rather quick. I've seen Textbroker go from having 1,200 orders at once all the way down to 0 the next day. But if you keep bouncing back and forth from one content mill to another, you can pretty much keep yourself busy throughout the entire week. I know I did. Luckily, I landed a great client that has me on retainer, and I write content for them on an everyday basis. And they pay me quite well. But I still need to work for content mills here and there just so I have a few extra bucks every week to cover some of my other expenses. Well, lately I haven't been spending less time on these content mills simply because I did get a raise from this client and I am advanced in the company. My point is that both content mills and private clients require a little bit of finesse to keep yourself busy. So I would have to call this a tie in my experience. However, I still make more per word from private clients than I ever did with Textbroker. But the trade-off is that Textbroker often keeps me more busy. So when I'm done with my private clients, I can easily jump onto Textbroker or Writer Access or Fiverr or any other content mills and crack out some more words. That is, unless I decided to make a YouTube video that day. So what about client interaction? Now this is where a lot of people would rather put in the effort into content mills. Now getting your own private clients requires a lot of cold emails and contacting clients directly. It evolves around direct interaction with these people. It might also include browsing through job openings and offers on websites. You need to market yourself as a professional who knows their stuff, and then convince the client that you are the best one for the job. And it's not even a guarantee that you'll get the job in the first place. Now when you work for content mills like Textbroker, you just grab a job, write it, and submit it, and you're done. That is, unless someone needs a revision request. Now while I still advise that you have some kind of client interaction on these systems, it's not a necessity. Though I can't stress enough how if you interact with your clients, it's going to boost your success on these platforms. But if you don't want to engage in cold chats and direct email to these potential customers, content mills are much easier to manage. Now let's look at some of the job requirements. Most professional private clients want to know that you're able to handle the job, and many will require a bachelor's degree or some kind of formal training in the industry before they'll even look at your resume. However, this doesn't mean you can't change their mind. I've had a couple of private clients who hired me just based on my knowledge and experience. But it's far more difficult to get some of these clients to hire you if you don't have any experience under your belt. Most content mills don't have such requirements. Now, when I first started writing for Textbroker in 2012, I didn't know the first thing about AP style writing. I was still able to work on some orders and make some money, but it's much easier to get started on a content mill than it is with a private client, especially when you don't have any experience as a writer. It's much easier to get started on a content mill than it is to find yourself with a few good paying quality clients. Now, what about sustainability? Now, the most important part about being a freelancer in any industry is sustainability. It doesn't really matter how much a client's willing to pay you if you're not able to sustain yourself. Most bill collectors don't care if you can't find private clients or the jobs are drained up on the content mill. And unfortunately, this aspect's based more on personal experience. Some of you might be exceptionally good at getting private clients, and that's great. But just make sure that you're bringing on enough money throughout the entire month to pay your bills. Some days you might wind up making $200 or $300, and then there's another day where you won't make anything at all. Now, based on my experience, having loyal private clients is far more sustainable than using systems like Textbroker. For instance, I've been busy every day with my current retaining client. I'm cracking out work every day, and I have for the past 2.5 years. And I can't say the same for the workflow in Textbroker. Like I said, the workflow fluctuates on systems like this, and you can find yourself overabundance with work, and then there's times where there won't be anything at all. Then again, this is based on getting a retaining client and then demonstrating that I am as good as I am. And this is mostly due to being professional, respectful, and engaging. In other words, it takes a fair amount of good customer service skills to keep a private client, especially since there are so many other freelance writers out there. So which is better, content mills or private clients? In reality, it depends on your goals and experience. While some people might want to make it big as a freelance writer, other people might just want to pad their weekly paycheck. It all boils down to what you want and your overall experience. Remember, private clients are going to scrutinize your abilities far more than a content mill will. For me, I would have much rather have private clients. However, I wouldn't be able to say this if it wasn't for the content mills giving me my start. How have I sustained myself for 7 years? I started my freelancing career on content mills. I really had no idea what I was doing, and I signed up with Textbroker. While using the system, I learned a great deal about AP-style English and how to interact with clients. In fact, I was content with working with Textbroker for 5 years, up until the beginning of 2017, before I started actually delving into getting private clients. At that point, I gained one of my first daily private clients, and it went great from there. In reality, I doubt I would be as successful as I am to now if it wasn't for starting off on a content mill, especially since I had no clue on how to go about writing. I went to college for graphic design and computer animation. I didn't even get to finish because I ran out of money. Now, it's funny because initially I started writing so that I could offset the lack of an income from the school district. $8.40 an hour just wasn't cutting it for paying the bills. I learned and grew over the years. My point is that in my case, I was able to develop myself as a freelance writer because of the content mill. I was able to smooth out the rough edges before gaining my own private clients. And if I needed a little bit of extra money throughout the week, I know that I could jump on sites like Textbroker, crack out a couple of orders, and be good for the weekend. Does this mean that content mills are better than private clients? Not necessarily. Remember, it's all about what you want to get out of being a freelance writer. Some may feel like I did in the very beginning, content with the amount of money coming in and the amount of work that was available. And that's okay. It's all about what you want, not what everybody else thinks you should be doing. Now, if you're making money as a freelancer and you're meeting your own personal goals, then who has the right to say that you're doing it wrong? So what method do you prefer as a freelance writer? Content mills or private clients? Leave the comments down below. In the long run, I think I'm a little bit on the fence. Now, I love the money that my private clients are giving me, but I also like the idea of being able to just pick up an order and write it whenever I feel like it. For me, content mills help build the momentum I needed to start gaining my own private clients. So I'd say I think I like them both equally, but for different reasons. But if you found the video informative, hit the like button. If you want to learn more about Textbroker, freelance writing, or any of the other topics that I cover, hit the subscribe button. I think that's going to do it for me today. I'll see you tomorrow.